Start the stream. Stream goes live.
There are leaves around, and I know just the tune to accompany them, if you wish to hear it.
Pardon me. Alright. We're good to go. My phone won't make any noise because it's after noise time. We should check stuff out. Oh, good.
Wherever in this world I roam, like
Yep. I know.
memories of my home.
Okay, let me come over here. I'm Audie's. Look at Audie's. Nom nom nom. Yep. Okay. Bunch of other stuff. We'll leave it.
It is the last link I have to the land of my birth.
Alright. A mechanism to get great amounts of what? Wait until the trial the following day. Oh, it's time for Dog and Ramp trial. Right. Hey.
The wind knows me.
Dang it. Is it not letting me land on top? I will land on top. There we go. Alright. Time to advance time. 8 o'clock. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Time to get up. Whoa! Okay. Participate in the trial. I do have some thoughts, but let's take things step by step.
Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then.
Okay.
Best of luck to you.
Exactly why did we need her?
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well now, don't you all look disappointed. Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Just you wait.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session.
Okay. It's a big ass quote unquote courtroom.
Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
How could Lenny not know about the sound? Well,
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
they probably represent the ore trace stand on the trial.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye.
I really don't like her.
Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
They're Fatui?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy.
Do not like her at all.
Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Has no relevance on the case. Linny and Lynette are Fatui.
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true?
There's no doubt about a magician's ability to con others. Given how Linny has concealed his identity, this could have been set up beforehand. Plus, Child is here in Fontaine along with other house operatives. There must be some scheme at work here. I've been a victim of such schemes before, and now...
Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Permission to speak.
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Brief adjournment. There are things I must discuss.
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
You meet with backstage in the Opera House.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys.
Okay, just because they're Fatui doesn't mean they're bad guys.
Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
Shady Lady says, I will pull for her to complete my archive collection, but I'll be throwing her off a cliff repeatedly. Ah, okay. Good, good. I do not like her.
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset.
How many good Fatui do we know? Not many. I still like Child. He's a Fatui. Harbinger no less. But I still like him.
But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
But how can we know this isn't just another lie?
Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but...
Explain the first issue. Where did you actually go when the trick was being performed?
Right. Let's hear your answer first. And no lies now.
Paimon, chill. I mean, he couldn't have gone very far, because he only has a minute.
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Aura Trace operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Huh?
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
But why did you want to understand how the Aura Trace operates?
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
I believe in the facts. I will defend you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense.
Actually, we already have the key evidence we need.
Huh?
The adjournment's almost over. Let's go back.
Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
What do you do? Lenny claims that he entered his chamber. The voice within the upper house. I have a few personal theories. I haven't done Act 3 and 4 yet, so my theories may be full of holes. I don't know yet. Time to continue the trial.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Based on the opposition's account of events, you can identify loopholes in their statement. Use evidence and clues obtained during the investigation to refute any erroneous assertions of fact and replace them with new inferences. Hey, see, Danganronpa. Okay. Get the scales to tip for us, using your refusions to convince the audience and obtain more support from the people. The oratress will display such shifts clearly. When you find and refute all incorrect content, you can complete the cycle of refutation and unveil the truth. Begin refutation.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
Yes.
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events, what Linney experienced and what he saw.
He claims he headed to the chamber containing the core upon entering the tunnel and did not witness the crime taking place, and thus did not hear the thud. No one left the opera house during the magic show, and after the incident happened, only those who had their identities cleared by the guards could leave. That's accurate. Takes Halsey. Loud thud from Lenny, but Lenny claimed that he heard nothing in order to cover up the truth.
According to Linney, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
Lady's listing out her theory. Theory 1. Furina isn't the real Archon, or if she is, she wasn't always the only one. Based on the 3 thrones at the dancing Mecca, some of the Oratress lope, and odd personality traits she has. So we haven't seen that. Lenny left the tunnel. Lenny kidnapped Halsey. Knocked Halsey out using the vase and removing clothes to prevent her from being identified. However, was Lenny really in the tunnel at that time? Identify loopholes. Sound during the magistrate during the switching program. There was an audible thump that many audience members heard. The crime was already taking place in Lenny. All Lenny saw was review.
Lenny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Okay. However, was Lenny really in the tunnel at the time? No one left the upper house during the Magico, and after the incident, only those who had seems to have heard a mysterious voice.
Lenny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say!
Oh boy.
When the countdown started, Lenny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent! Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that! Wasn't it awesome?
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
Moreover, I believe the opposition's reasoning is flawed.
My reasoning?
Where's the woman? The onstage equipment was clearly tampered with in a premeditation fashion. However, you say that Cromwell bumped into Lenny by chance.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Lenny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
How about the bigger point that he's too young to have done all these?
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to turn things around.
Oh, well, your denial is very strident. I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims?
Do you happen to remember how you refuted Lenny's alibi initially?
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
Your claim has now become my weapon. Your claim has also become a critical clue. Choose the most what? Information about missing lady. Halsey is a missing person. She's a famous painter. Which of the items wasn't in the tunnel when the crime took place? Opera House, switcheroo, Pisk. I wish whatever had popped up had stayed up longer. Which is the evidence that Lenny wasn't in the tunnel when the crime took place?
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? Paimon thinks there's something off here. Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? Paimon thinks... That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! Ha ha! How do you like that?
Well played.
To think you'd use such logic.
Where do you get the feeling she knows where the girl is?
Well then, if it wasn't Lenny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Excuse me. We're not here to deduce this. We're here to prove if he's innocent or guilty. I'm not here to tell you who did it. Anyway, the murderer was... Oh boy. We're going to figure it out. Select the gear icons in the interface. Check with the corresponding case questions. Select your answers and fill in the empty gears to verify the correctness of your deductions. If you have made mistakes, you must make another selection from the remaining options. Once you have answered all the questions correctly, you can complete this logic chain. How did the culprit trigger the onstage accident? The guard's investigative report indicates that the fireworks released near the end of the show ignited and burned through the rope, suspending the water tank above the stage. This caused the water tank to fall and kill Cowell in the box below. Under suspicion, only the other members of the troupe would have been able to tamper with the rope. Lenny gave detailed account of how the trick was supposed to work by using a box inside of the box. The idea was the box containing the audience member to be transported across via a tunnel and underneath, then Lenny himself would also use the tunnel to get to the other side. Having changed her outfit, Lynette and her assistant would take charge of onstage interactions. The clothes belonging to Halsey, the lady who went missing, were found in the tunnel. The reason for this remains unknown. The only person who could possibly have committed the crime
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or did she have her own scheme all along?
Why would she have changed clothes?
The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Could there have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility?
I think it's her.
Halsey is the missing person.
No. Okay.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. Could there have been a third person?
Okay, so it's all Cal's fault. Really?
The deceased's name is Cowell.
Huh? That can't be right. Are you serious? The killer was, in fact, Cowell, the deceased!
Oh, is that so? How interesting! Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. So where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey? The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal... It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances, so where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey? Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract... No one entered or left the The deceased's name is Cowell,
How can we
Linny's
envision
assistant.
Linny having been able to
He
interfere
would
with
have been
crime?
able to tamper with the equipment. Linny was not in the tunnel at the...
Switch. Who's the prime suspect currently?
No one entered or left the The deceased's name is Cowell.
Who's the prime suspect current?
The deceased's
How
name
can I
is
prove there was an
Cowell,
altercation
Linny's
in...
assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
Switch. Who's the prime suspect?
The deceased's name is...
Where did the missing Halsey go?
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between... No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances.
Alright, so those two are wrong.
No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. So, the sound we heard may have come from a clash.
Where did the missing Halsey go?
It would have been tough for both people to fit. The sound we heard may have come... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
Not that one.
It would have been tough for both people to...
Source and the methods. The criminal must have understood the methods behind Lenny's magic trick, and must have been in a position to easily modify the equipment. Leaving aside how he died, Cromwell had all the means to commit the crime at his disposal. Stage noise could likely have been the sound of Cowell and Hazley struggling. Lenny was not in the tunnel for 1 minute. This would give given time for him to bring Halsey out of the magic box in the audience stands. But according to the guard's testimony, no one entered or left the Opera House, so even if he had taken her, there's no means of exiting. But her dress is under the tunnel. Or in the tunnel. Exiting from the box would have been in full view of the audience, pretty much guaranteed that they would have been discovered.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
Where in the world did Halsey go?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Hold on a second.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time.
How can we envision Lenny of having been unable to interfere with the crime? Right.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. The vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
Oh, Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick. Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about 2 completely different things.
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment.
Okay. Let's say that Lenny did kill said individual. Halsey. Where's the body? They've already said no one left. With no body, how you got a crime of murder, which is what they're basically saying. Well, okay, no, they said kidnapping. The murder was Comwell.
The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense.
Isn't that what Sherlock said? Something about if you reason away all the things, whatever is left, no matter how. I don't remember.
Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
people really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Or, actually finding out the truth. You have your own vision of, pun intended, justice.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased, Cowell.
I know what you were thinking of, and yes, it's Sherlock.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea?
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
He's already been found innocent, people.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
Who is prime suspect currently?
The deceased's name is
What item did the culprit use to control the timing of the dissolution?
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism.
What item did the culprit use to dissolve?
The water from the primordial sea.
What item did the culprit use to hide the mechanism behind the crime?
The rope that held the water tank up.
Okay, no.
Lynette was in the magic box on stage. I remember there was something else.
Ahem! It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shine again!
At least you're smarter than the freaking Archon.
In the original plan, Cowl would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What a humiliation.
Still don't like her.
It seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case. And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What?
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close. Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization. Am I right, Mr. Linny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no. Paimon can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Oh, why did this have to happen now?
I think think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Linney, if you would be so kind.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette. Give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But, as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
I don't.
And voila.
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowl. I admit it.
What? Why?
Okay, I'm confused.
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there, and I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Linny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was onto me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
If they're practiced hand concealment, probably a professional thief could make it work.
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, That makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
Yeah, now it's time to refute the Hydro Archon's previous reasoning.
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lily-Ann's perspective.
They entered the tunnel. Identify loopholes. Lenny entered the tunnel. Right. Before this true lucky number, however the cards have found it. Clearly someone has tampered with it. Strange sound. Like Halsey dissolved Caldwell. Plan to use the prepared apparatuses for the magic trick. Dissolve Halsey inside the magic box, as Halsey had appeared completely unharmed before all of our eyes. Furious conjured no longer holds water, and how would Halsey have reacted when the water from the Primrose Sea suddenly began to trickle in? It don't. Infighting between Lenny and Caldwell was not. That was.
Seems this won't produce a particularly effective rebuttal. The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during the struggle between Lily-Ann and Cowell.
Okay.
Seems...
Okay. No. Okay.
Lily-Ann was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what one might expect of an experienced thief.
That's not gonna be it. Okay, so that doesn't change anything.
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lily-Ann's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lily-Ann panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lily-Ann had not dissolved. He did not know that Lily-Ann was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the Primordial Sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lily-Ann back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lily-Ann came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended. She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the Opera House these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
I don't think he likes her much.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
No.
Wow, look at that. She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Of these crimes?
While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon
Remind me
Town.
to show you the wish animation from Star Rail. They literally refuse animation. Reused animation for the Oratrice. And that. Wow. Why am I not surprised? Not surprised.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
What higher-ups?
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes. Who are these higher-ups?
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know.
Bet you will.
Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent mora off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
He turned into water.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
This reminds me of the assassin in was that 2 or 1? No, that was 1. What was the name of that? Oh God, the woman. She had no. She had. They weren't prosthetics. They were swords that she walked on. However, nothing is found on the scene apart from the liquid left behind after falling dissolved.
So, we're just going back now?
The problem seems to have been solved for now. We're not needed here anymore.
That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Linny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui.
I just didn't wish to see anyone be falsely accused. I just wanted to be sure that we're square. Falsely accused.
Guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, It's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? It's about my past. Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person, and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Sarita to first use the Gnosis' power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We won't give up on defending our homeland. To us orphans, The only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
It's all right. I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the House, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
Bye, Linny!
Time to go.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Zorch Poofta.
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too? Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah. I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navi is treating, count Paimon in!
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell meal!
If I can ever get through the loading screen. can't teleport.
I can't believe how much it's changed.
Time to go.
Do I have to take the bus? I gotta take the bus, which is over there.
Into the wind.
That one was easy enough.
Time to go.
Wait. Why did it?
Time to go. Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you say? Go to the bench. Wait for the octopus. Okay. Go.
Welcome to the Navia line. This journey will be returning to the Court of Fontaine. I am Elfan, your tour guide for this trip. But I hope you won't mind if my commentary fails to do justice to the majestic views before your eyes. Anyway, the destination of this tour is the capital city of this nation, the Court of Fontaine. Even the critic who once compared the city to a cage of stone and steel could not deny its aesthetic appeal. To the right of the aquabus, suspended in midair, is Fontaine's renowned research institute. I hear the employees there do crazy overtime regardless of rank or distinction. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with the incident.
No. Right. Over there. That would be left. What's that? Up there.
Excellent. We've reached the terminal station. Please prepare to disembark. I don't mean to hurry you, but there are just so many attractions in the Court of Fontaine worth visiting. I recommend that you begin sightseeing as soon as possible, so you encounter as many of these treasures as you can. As for me, I might use this opportunity for a rest. Maybe I'll go to our ways for a cup of coffee. Even tour guides need a pick-me-up now and then.
Time to go.
Upstairs. Okay.
Time to go.
I think it's time to
Time
go.
to go.
Investing too much motion puts your...
Just FYI, it's not dinner time anymore. I think it's lunchtime. Oh, look. There's another one.
I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up. I hope the food here will be to your taste.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while. Paimon's getting excited already.
In that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here a moment.
Ooh, everything looks so good. People in Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula next time.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table.
You, sure have your own way of doing things. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right? We did just win that case after all.
Oh, true. Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes.
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food. Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking! We were so close to hearing who was behind it.
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm if the trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability, it's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough. Which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist. To seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them. That's the kind of problems we solve.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are.
It's all right. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so I doubt you have further interest in this business, right? Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
We wanted to ask the Hydro Archon for some information, but we haven't had much opportunity to do so.
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended. It didn't really seem like the right time or place to do it anyway.
I see. So, your primary objective, which has been foiled so far, was to have a chat with the Hydro Archon. I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect you'll be waiting for quite a while, considering that you missed your chance today.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it'll be tough getting any of her time.
Griffiths 82.
Well,
Welcome.
Would you consider some more, unique ways? Perhaps even methods of, let's say, questionable legality?
Do my best Paimon voice.
Guess that's Bina Di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full of sketchy ideas. Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play. Don't you think?
I can do this. I could. Not gonna happen.
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act, and acting's really hard.
All right, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until she answers all your questions. I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep.
That might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested.
Foreshadowing?
Valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking about leveraging a person's desire for sleep.
Could you overlook something like that?
All right, no more joking around. Perhaps you could... Oh, I don't know. Cut the line when she's on a break. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that she feels quite ashamed about the whole thing.
I imagine she doesn't.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, that does make some sense.
Well, it's worth a try with someone with her personality really feels shame. You have to go with someone with her personality. Does she really feel shame?
Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all.
Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta?
Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was right next to Paimon. Would you like to order another?
No, it's fine. We're just about done here.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
I'd have to agree, my drink also tasted that way too.
Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fanta here then.
They're putting it in all of the...
If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed. Thanks for the treat, Navia. Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore.
If you try walking, you know. If you try floating a little lower.
Can't you see Paimon's barely an inch off the ground?
I think you need to... Yeah, anyway.
Okay. As for expenses this month, we're left with...
Hey, Navia! What are you doing over there?
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
Seems that was pretty tough for her. That's a pretty crazy meal, all thanks to Paimon.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again. Bye, Navia!
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. I'll give your requests the highest priority. In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See ya!
Wow, it immediately started the next act. Okay. Well... Oh, and it's at the fountain. Look at that. Lady wants me to go to the fountain. Thankfully, I know a shortcut.
I follow the wind.
He follows the wind.
Yeah. Yeah.
No hay bales. No carts of hay. What's going on? Crappy viewpoint.
There aren't many people around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vache.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you hearing voices again?
Yes. It's clearer than it was during the day.
Ugh. That's kinda spooky. Are you sure we don't want to come back in the morning?
Nope. Don't want to come back in the morning.
Vache. Vache.
Hey, why are you still walking towards it? There might be something nasty in the water.
I can feel strong emotions. Things are getting a little blurry. Hey, if things are getting blurry, dude.
Huh? Hang on. Paimon can kinda hear a voice. It's calling for Vache, right?
Paimon can hear it.
Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Oceanid.
Vache. Are you my dear Vache? No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know Vache? Do you know where my love is?
I'm afraid not. I'm sorry. Who are you?
Wait. Who am I? I'm very sorry. I fear I do not know.
But you're the ocean. We've fought with you.
My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide, never to be recovered. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since forgotten?
You were once human?
Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I am but the consciousness of one who has lost their form. I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being covered in light blue water, and then all grew dim.
Like blue water, could that have been... Could she be one of the girls who was dissolved?
I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure, loved exploring places of peril. No matter where I went, Vacher would go with me. I knew how dearly he loved me, and I also loved him equally as much. But now, we can no longer go back. The pain of such parting, I never knew how heavy it could be.
So you need me to find him?
No. Our reunion no longer has any meaning. There is no way for us to create any new memories.
Why not?
The thought of me gives him no succor. So let it lie forgotten beneath the waters. If you meet Vacher, tell him not to look for me. Tell him to move on. That is the only thing I still remember.
It would be hard for him to forget you.
Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters, losing consciousness, I saw Vacher above the surface. His eyes were filled with such sorrow, such longing. If only I could have comforted him, told him that I did not suffer. Indeed, I had felt a great warmth.
Wait, he witnessed you dissolve?
Is that what you call it? Dissolving? If anything, I consider it a form of release. It was a state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless peace, like the water's still surface. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so long in a world of endless want and anxiety.
Seems that after the body is dissolved, some measure of the consciousness still remains.
I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go, I think.
Is that Paimon? Right. I wonder how much time has passed in reality.
Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence. Remember, if you see Vacher, tell him not to seek me out any longer.
And why were you calling for him? The hell?
Demoiselle, look out!
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex. Chlorand?
chance!
I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Clorand. But before I do so, could you explain how you managed to show up here?
What was that all about?
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking, is it not?
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same, were he alive today.
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we all wish to avoid unnecessary emotional harm.
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
They have a... Griff is commenting on Clorane's attire.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you, but I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is very powerful. Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
Huh. I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long to act against me. And what about these Gardamex? I thought only those associated with the Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a private force of sorts.
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. That's my father's true last wish. Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clorand. But if you get any ideas, tell me first. I don't much appreciate being followed.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you. Good day, all.
They're even kind of bursting at the seams. I mean, if you can't see that. Yep. Sorry. No Paimon voice.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clorand was being sincere with you. If we tried, we could attempt to thaw relations a little.
I know, I just She's...
What just happened? Who was that?
Oh, thank goodness! Paimon thought we were done for!
What kind of streamer am I? I stream for certain individuals. I'm not your average streamer. Have you figured that out yet?
Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Nadia and her gang saved us!
Viewpoint.
Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Clorand who came out to save us too! We got lucky there. Paimon probably couldn't have fought them off otherwise.
Oh, so you're a fighter now, Paimon. Thanks for the rescue, Navia. This individual needs to hear your best, Paimon. Not happening. Nice try.
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. Not for me, anyway. In truth, I hope that every meal we have together shall be a victory feast.
Oh, also, I thought you unsubscribed. Unsubbed there, Mr. Griffiths82. You did say that. Chat is over. Go stand. Excuse me, in the fountain. Got it.
As such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank me.
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
Mm-hmm.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her goodwill long ago.
All right, you two. That's enough.
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show up in the nick of time.
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow? Ooh, Paimon's even more amazing than she thought!
Paimon didn't even know.
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
How did that help?
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said. That the Fanta tasted kinda salty and icky.
Wait, do you mean that? I thought it tasted strange as well, but I couldn't be sure.
Fanta only comes in sweet flavors, so how could it have tasted salty? The color of the drink, if I recall, had also been a bit off.
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordial sea?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, if you hadn't drunk that cup for me...
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for saving the boss.
Huh. Really?
Fortunately, Paimon, neither of us are from Fontaine. Otherwise, we would have been.
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate, but whoever did this left no trace at all. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger, and hurried here as quickly as I could.
But how did you know we would be here?
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his name. Ugh, now we're caught up in this mess too, aren't we?
Apparently. And they came after us because we defended Linny. But they should have known that we, the blonde traveler, famed, and not from Fontaine.
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of, and almost got their name in the process. Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial seawater?
No.
Well, it can't be a coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. He said that he heard that voice calling for Vache again.
That wasn't because of the seawater. Because we did that without drinking any of the water.
Oh, and this time Paimon it was real faint. Does this situation have to do with the primordial seawater then?
According to Lynette, the ability to hear voices like that has to do with one's sensitivity to the hydro element.
Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used on people who are not from Fontaine?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
I also gained some new intel.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Yeah, had a nice little chat with the Oceanid. You know, the one we fought back in Mondstadt.
Well, let's hear it, shall we?
The voice in the fountain belongs to one of the missing women. A person named Vashir was a witness when she dissolved.
Oh, that is important.
Tell everyone what happened when you were connected to the Oceanid's consciousness.
Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court lately. Since he saw that young woman dissolve, he was at least at the crime scene. But he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Could he have been threatened?
If he's still alive, we should try searching for him.
Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. We will continue to investigate.
Alright, partner, by we, you mean us too, right?
Oh, you mean you'll help us investigate?
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners, right? And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get off the hook so easily, are you, Traveler?
I think this will cost them. This will prove to be their biggest mistake. Taking on the blonde traveler. I mean, come on. I am famous.
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to one of our bases, shall we? I'll arrange accommodations for you. We also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners. But we'll take that one step at a time, I guess.
The nuts on this guy. She wants to deepen our bonds. And I have to admit, I'll have to side with Lady. Yeah, I'm definitely, she's got a very, very nice outfit.
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
Dude, you guys couldn't fight off the mechs. You couldn't keep her safe. Somebody else had to step in. I'm not feeling safe with you guys around. Anyway, he says advance the time to morning-ish. And then go into the fountain. Something special is supposed to happen. She wanted me to do this before. People. Okay, we have people around. Now we go into the fountain. What's supposed to be happening, lady? It's not a bad outfit. Why does your guy look different out of the cutscenes? Because this is not the Traveler. This isn't the Traveler, this isn't the Traveler, and that's not the Traveler. The main character, the Traveler, is... Party setup. Traveler. All these other people are people we've met and are friends with, but they've you don't actually. You'll hear a voice crying, asking how long they take this is. How long they take this, it sounds like. WTF, so many. Yeah. So to get these people, okay. see, Griff. This is how gotcha games work, okay? So you have a party of 4 people, right? Well, each party member has their special abilities. So, you want this guy. Well, you have to wish for him, okay? And wishes cost primogems. You have to earn the primogems. But when you wish for this guy, every 10 wishes you're guaranteed to get a 4-star. Now here's the thing. Let me show you my history. Come on. So he's a named character, and he's a 5-star. There are 4-star characters and there are 5-star characters. But there are also 4-star weapons and 5-star weapons. And yeah, weapon. Oh look, character. You gotta see. We call Rosaria Pornhub Nut. You'll see why here in a minute. Here is she. Oh, they changed her.
I hear you've got a job for me.
She used to be, so she's a nun. They changed her legs. She used to have, fishnets. Didn't she, lady? Also, I swear she, hung out a little bit more. Anyway. Yeah, that's Rosaria.
Don't we have...
No, Rosaria. We don't have anything. So anyway, yes. You have to roll for these guys.
Sounds good to me.
And then you have to level them. Fish legs? Yes, chest downsized and more cover. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so then you have to level them. Now I've been told that I should put her
Kamisato Ayaka, present.
And him.
Very well. I shall put my official duties to one side for the moment.
Which they don't actually have the same last name, but they're... Oh, it's... Actually, they do. Because it's Asian, their last name is actually first, but they're brother and sister. They do have the same... Yeah, I realize that. But I'm supposed to put these two, Griff, on a team with Kokomi here. But I haven't really leveled these guys up. So, I play with Benny Boy.
Gonna be epic.
Benny's best boy. And this is Raiden.
Stay close and you will live.
The Shogun. She was head honcho in Inazuma. As in like the Archon. HMFIC. So this is the team I run currently. Anyway.
Time to go.
So in the cutscenes, they have the main character, which is Traveler, and there's a male Traveler and a female Traveler. I took the male Traveler. Lady plays the female Traveler. Inazuma is based upon
There are
Japan,
leaves
Leo
around,
Mondstadt is England,
and I know
Sumeru
just
is
the
India,
tune to
and
accompany
Fontaine
them,
is
if
French.
you wish to hear it.
And Griff says, cool. Viewpoint. These viewpoints are not nearly as good as the ones coming Thursday/Friday. Thursday/Friday we have new AC game coming. Yes. Oh, hey, another one of these. I should open these up. Anyway, I know I'm supposed to be doing quests, but now I'm just futzing around. Where is just the way I'm going? Oh, I don't want to walk. You should get the Statue of the Seven. I know, I'm trying to get the Statue of the Seven. I want to get combat for Griff so he sees. Oh, and that little star on the mini map. So this little star right here. There's a bunch of these throughout the land. I'm supposed to get it. It's right there. It's that thing. I pick it up and I give it to the Statues of the Seven. And
Time to go.
Then I get rewards. Right, where's this? It's that way.
One with nature.
So that's his special little thing. Benny is best boy. One of our children says Benny is a waste, but Benny's best boy. Poor guy. This is not what I wanted. But that's another one of those things. Where there it is. Oh, good. Oh, and there's another one. Boom. No fights. Alright, Statue 7. So, Statue of the Sevens unlocks the maps and shows you where the teleport parts are. Which, what do you mean it's disabled? Oh, really? Well, screw you. Statue of the Seven. Can't wait for Dev to learn the new underwater fighting. I can worship the statue. So I have 5. I need 20, and then I get all this stuff. Look, primal gems. Yay! And this key. I saw one earlier. It's off in the distance. There's special little rooms. Where are you? I don't know, but I collected it. Nope. Almost fell off. Ah, there's one. Haha. So that little box over there, it has a force field all the way around it. With that key, you can get in there, and then there's special chests. And they give you primal gems and loot gear. Oh, yeah. Loot and gear. Remember those Remember those 3-star, 4-star, 5-star weapons I was talking about? So he here has his Freedom Sword. So we can enhance this. This is a 5-star weapon? Yeah, I can't actually do anything with this. If I had more, more like it, I could level it up. You refine it by feeding another one into it. But I've already leveled this one up. Let's the Traveler has a constellation? Oh, right. So when you are rolling for other characters, I didn't get them all. When you roll for these characters, if you get a repeat of the character, you unlock their constellation. Each one of these kind of buffs some of their abilities. Better attunement with the statue with Traveler, yeah. So here's Benny. I've gotten him 4 times. Once and then 3 unlocks. Certain points you're focused to it. Yes. Actually, Komi's weapon. Yeah, I've only taken it to level 80. So so her weapon, which she is catalyst user, otherwise magic user. To level it up more, we need to ascend it, but to ascend it, I need all these things. These come from this particular domain, but only on those days. So I don't know if you noticed, but it said on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, you can get these things out of that domain. These come from Fatui mages, and these come from hilly troll shooters. Now, these could actually be crafted as well. So these are, let's see here, if I go to my map, and we'll go over here to Mondstadt, which is the starter area. I'll show you how you craft things up. So as you're fighting things, they drop stuff, which we haven't really done any fighting. It's just all been storyline. But they'll drop these things, and then there's rarities of them. And loading screen is so slow. But it's like any MMO. You got to, for crafting, you have low tier, medium tier, high tier. So you come up to the crafting bench, and this is, there it is. Okay, so I have none of these, but to craft one of these, I would need these. You need 3 of them, and then it crafts one of these. And then to craft one of these, you need 3 of these to get one of these. See how it's yeah. So, like these things, you'll notice that they're all the same symbols on them. Little fans. So to craft these, you need the brown ones. Like I've got 69 of 3. So I can craft 20. Craft them up. Confirm. I got 20 of those. And then with that, I can craft a couple of these. Now I have 17 of those. But these things get dropped by different monsters. And those monsters can be any number of things. Yeah, back over here. It's not going to let me teleport though. Oh, now it'll let me teleport. What the heck? Wouldn't let me teleport before. There is co-op mode. You can have up to 3 other people join you. As people join you, so I have 4 characters that I can play. If I have 3 of my friends come in, I lose a character. So if one person comes in, I get 2, and the one person that comes in gets 2. If a second person comes into my world, I get 2, and then they each get 1. And if a third person comes in, I just get the 1. I don't want to do this. Where is... I want to go there. Yeah, navigate to that. So this should show me how to get to that. I don't want to go to the stronghold. It's a how can I make you spend hours in the game and still not have enough time or energy to level stuff up for the characters. Yeah. That's still going there.
I'll just treat them as new samples.
Where is... It's up at the top of this, isn't it? It is designed for you to, you know, spend money. They want you to spend money.
Looks like we're running out of tight 3 screws.
Let's go all the way up.
Wherever in this world I roam, I carry memories of my home. This blade, it is the last link I have to the land of my birth.
So Kazuha here is actually a weaponsmith, and that's where that line comes from. Thankfully, it's a really good game for puzzles and stories. 2 of my favorite things. Yes, 2 of your favorite things. Now, where is... There it is! Yay! Wow, that's a lot of teleport points. Each one of these is a teleport point, and I have to visit it and unlock it so that I can use it. Anyway. Yeah, statue 7. You can actually heal your guys with these statues. And you can attune your traveler to that element. So, this is the water. There are hidden points you can't see yet. Yes, I know. There are, with this being Fontaine, that's the water element. I could attune my traveler to water, but I'm not going to right now. I have water aligned characters. Alright, where is... It's over here. Right, we are going to end the game here. The stream, the game, the myth, the legend. But yeah, Benny's best boy. That's all you gotta really know. He's not clumsy. I should get my primos for my achievements. Look at that. Look at all those primos. Yeah. Primos. 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 Anyway. Thanks for watching. Yeah, we have a new series coming out. We'll be going back into the Animus, all the viewpoints, and all the leaps of faith. Looking forward to it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I got through your thing. I know I've got to do the rest of them. Lady wants me to finish all of these Fontaine quests. But the Archon is a real pain in the backside, in my opinion. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time, which is coming soon.